The Brothers Grimm, the Wonderful Musician. There once was a wonderful musician who went quite alone through the forest and thought of all the matter of things. And when nothing was left for him to think about, he said to himself, "Time is beginning to pass heavily with me here in the forest. I will fetch a good companion for myself." Then he took his fiddle from his back and played it so that it echoed through the trees. It was not long before a wolf came trotting through the thicket towards him. "Ah, here is a wolf coming. I have no desire for him," said the musician. But the wolf came near and said to him, "Ah, dear musician, how beautifully you do play. I should like to learn that too." "It is soon learned," replied the musician. "Only you have to do all that I bid you." "Oh, musician," said the wolf, "I will obey you as a scholar obeys his master." The musician said to him, "Follow." And when they had gone part of the way together, they came to an old tree which was hollow inside and cleft in the middle. "Look," said the musician, "if you will learn to fiddle, put your forepaws into this crevice." The wolf obeyed, but the musician quickly picked up a stone and with one blow wedged the two paws so fast that he was forced to stay there like a prisoner. "Stay there until I come back again," said the musician, and went on his way. After a while he said to himself, "Time is beginning to pass heavily with me in the forest. I will fetch another companion," and took his fiddle and played into the forest. It was not long before a fox came creeping through the trees towards him. "Ah, there's a fox coming," said the musician. "I have no desire for him." The fox came up to him and said, "Oh, dear musician, how beautifully do you play. I shall like to learn that too." "That is soon learned," said the musician. "You have only to do everything that I bid you." "Oh, musician, I will obey you as a scholar obeys his master." "Follow me," said the musician. And when they walked part of the way, came to a footpath with high bushes on both sides of it. There the musician stood, and from the side bent a young hazel bush down onto the ground. He put his foot on top of it, and then bent down a young tree from the other side as well, and said, "Now, little fox, if you will learn something, give me your left front paw." The fox obeyed, and the musician fastened his paw to the left burrow. "Little fox," he said, "now reach your right paw." And he tied it to the right burrow. When he had exclaimed whether they were firm enough, he let go, and the bushes sprang up again and jerked the little fox so that it hung swinging in air. "Wait until I come back again," and the musician went on his way. Again he said to himself, "Time is beginning to pass heavily with me in this forest. I will fetch another companion." So he took his fiddle, and the sound echoed through the forest. Then a little hare came springing towards him. "Why, a hare is coming," said the musician. "I do not want him." "Ah, dear musician, how beautifully you do fiddle. I too shall learn like that." "That is soon learned," said the musician. "You only have to do everything that I bid you." "Oh, musician," replied the little hare, "I will obey you as a scholar obeys his master." They went part of the way together until they came to an open space in the forest. There stood an aspen tree. The musician tied a long string around the little hare's neck, and the other end fastened to the tree. "Now briskly, little hare, run around 20 times around the tree," cried the musician, and little hare obeyed. When it had run around 20 times, it had twisted the string 20 times round the trunk of the tree, and the little hare was caught, and let a pull and tug as it licked only made the string cut into its tender neck. "Wait here till I come back," said the musician, and went onwards. The wolf, in the meantime, had pushed and pulled and bitten at the stone, and had worked so long that he had set his feet free, and had drawn them once out of the cleft. Full of anger and rage, he hurried after the musician, and wanted to tear him to pieces. When the fox saw him running, he began to lament, and cried with all of his might, "Brother Wolf, come to my help. The musician has betrayed me." The wolf drew down the little tree, and bit the cord in two, and freed the fox, who went with him to revenge take revenge on the musician. They found up the tied-up hare, whom likewise they released, and then they all sought the enemy together. The musician has once again played his fiddle, and as he went on his way, this time he had become more fortunate. The sound had reached the ears of a poor woodcutter, who instantly, without thought, gave up his work to come with his hatchet under his arm and listen to the music. "At last comes the right companion," said the musician, "for I was seeking a human being, and no wild beast." And as he began he played so beautifully and delighted that the poor man stood there, as if bewitched. His heart leaped with gladness, and he stood. The fox, the wolf, and the hare came up, and so well that they had some evil design. So he raised his glittering axe and placed himself before the musician, as if to say, "Whoever wishes to touch him, let him beware, for he will have to deal with me." Then the beasts were terrified and ran back to the forest. The musician, however, played once more to the man out of gratitude, and then went onwards. The end.